Mobile. So mobile is this huge thing, so we can approach it through so many angles. I'll just bring a few stats down so people can actually understand the scale of mobile, because I don't think people realize how big mobile, how massive it is, and how fast it's actually growing. And I'm very happy to have these three guys, because I'm pretty much sure that each of them, in their own methods, have understood that scale of mobile. And they've proven it with the services they've created. Last year there was probably 1.7 billion mobiles sold in the world. This number this year is going to reach 2 billion. This 2 billion mobile phone, not only 2 billion smartphones, so roughly a billion smartphones sold. Next year there will be probably 2 billion smartphones sold. So if you just think about it, it's only 300 million PCs sold. There's already 2 billion smartphones being sold. The scale of this industry is so big that most companies, most corporates I work with, because I work with a lot of corporations, do not understand it. We're talking about the reason these networks are growing so fast. Let me give you an example. Facebook is now at 1.2, 1.3 billion accounts. Companies like WhatsApp, Line, KakaoTalk, WeChat are reaching between 300 to 400 million already, and this is in the scope of less than a year. These companies are growing extremely fast, and what they all share in common is that they are not only mobile first, but mobile only. So I'm gonna let these three guys introduce themselves so you can understand a little bit what they're doing in their own words. And I'm gonna be here to challenge them a little bit, although I think we pretty much agree on the scale of mobile, but to try to challenge them a bit about their business model. So maybe we'll start with you, Aaron.
So first of all, good morning.
I'm pretty sure you know what it is, because you probably have downloaded the application. That is the application that is used here for this conference. Which you could talk about, actually.
Yeah, that's what we do. I'll tell you a little bit about ourselves, what we plan to do and are working on hard in the last 2+ years is fixing a lot of the broken things that, if you look at the online world and the mobile world and what happened in the last 2 decades in this world, and you look at the offline world, specifically at business events and conferences like these, there is a big gap between what happened on the online world and the offline world. And BIZZABO is a technology that comes to bridge between those two worlds using data and a platform like BIZZABO for mobile and leveraging the social interactions between everybody involved in a conference. So that's our vision, that's our passion, that's what we want to fix in the world. Very happy to be here. So thanks for having us.
So you guys are based both in Tel Aviv and New York, is correct?
That's true.
Okay, because it's a very international panel.
Yeah, we're originally from Tel Aviv, Israel, and we recently, 6 months ago, opened an office in New York.
Igor?
Yeah, good morning, everyone. So we build productivity applications for iPhone and iPad, and effectively our big goal is to kind of make the day when you can go out of your office or your home without carrying a laptop. So this whole notion of post-PC era effectively means that you need to get real job done, real things done, real time saved using your portable devices with you, whether it's iPhone or iPad. So till today we have 6 major applications, around like 14 million people using our product so far. We've been doing this since 2007. And we've learned quite a lot on how people use a mobile device in their personal and business life.
Last but not least, Martin.
Hi.
You're already ahead of the curve with what you have on your head here, right?
I'm waiting for the wearables first companies, right? I'm Mark Johnson. I'm CEO of ZITE. I'm at Philosophy Geek on Twitter. If I say something smart, feel free to tweet it. If it's dumb, please don't. I'm the CEO of ZITE, which is a personalized magazine for the iPhone, iPad, Android phones and tablets. And it gets smart as you use it. So there's a really beautiful interface on the phones, but there's actually a lot of technology behind it. We read millions of articles. Well, the computers read 1 million articles a day. We have some smart algorithms that try to figure out the things that you like to read, the topics that you prefer, and we try to deliver a personalized magazine that's just for you. There's 40,000 topics. You know, most magazines will have maybe dozens of topics, so it's a really unique product, and that's kind of what differentiates the market from companies like Flipboard.
Oh yeah, you had to mention Flipboard. I was about to do it. I've been in mobile since probably 1998, 99. I had a startup back then. They were doing, mobile content delivery. Obviously, back then nobody was actually I mean, 99 was probably the tipping point for mobile. It started. I think there were like 4 mobile phones sold in the UK every 30 seconds or something, but nobody was actually accessing the mobile phones online. And what I remember is that every year you would go to Mobile World Congress in Barcelona, you had someone going on stage and said, this is a year of mobile, this is a year of mobile. It became almost an inside joke because it was said, but it was never the case. Now, years down the line, especially with the release of the iPhone in 2008, we have, I think, 60 billion apps that were downloaded on just the Apple AppStore. So, of course, now the question was not going, is it the year of mobile? It's like, you guys, how to actually get through the noise. There's so many things going out. But first and foremost, what I really like about you three, and please tell me if I'm wrong, is that you were either mobile only or mobile first company. So you didn't even look, or maybe you thought at the beginning, you didn't even look at going to desktop web. You immediately jumped to mobile. It kind of makes sense when you think about your business model, either because of the way you interact with articles with a touchscreen for ZITE, on the simple fact that at conferences you need to actually have your mobile, like I do here with me, but you probably don't have your laptop, or maybe you have it. So, but why is the thinking behind it? Why did you go directly mobile? Besides the numbers I've spoken, was there like, I know the reason you just told it, but I'll give you the word, but why did you go mobile first or mobile only?
I mean, honestly, for ZITE, it was kind of dumb luck. So the company had been around for a long time. We had a web product that was sort of a personalized search engine for you that no one used. So the product had been around for 4 years and it had less than 10,000 users over those 4 years. So it was kind of a failure in the marketplace. But we had this great technology. And we decided instead of having the search engine, we would try to do something that was more, which is kind of a pull technology, something more of a push technology. That is, instead of asking the search engine what you want, why don't we just give you a list of things that we think that you would be interested in? And we built that for the web. And we looked at it, and it was cool, but we did some user testing with it, and people were like, okay, yeah, I already get my news from other websites. It wasn't a real problem for people to get news on the web, like, oh, I've got Google Reader, why do I need this? Luckily for us, the iPad came out just as we were sort of wringing our hands and figuring out what to do. So we did a sort of, basically it was a Hail Mary pass for the company. It was a last-ditch effort. We were running out of money. We said, you know what, this iPad thing seems pretty hot. It seems like the perfect device for reading things. So we launched for the iPad in March 2011. Luckily, we happened to launch during the week that the iPad 2 was coming out, and we were #1 in the App Store after the first 24 hours. So it was pretty exciting.
Were you featured by Apple?
We were not featured by Apple. Without any featuring from Apple, we just went to the top. We got really lucky. We had about 50 original pieces of news that day. We had a hit in print in Wall Street Journal and in USA Today. So we had a lot of really good press, and that really drove the downloads early on. But it's funny. Like I like to think that our mobile strategy was well thought out, and that we did this because we knew it was the right thing to do. But in essence, it was really just lucky, and it was a really lucky move on our part.
Why did you decide to actually? So you provide several apps, right? You're not you're a product company, right? Yeah, an iPhone and iPad, so no Android, right? If I'm right. Okay, not yet. But why did you choose to go that way?
Well, mobile itself is so different from desktop. So when the first iPhone came up and the smartphone era kind of started to get traction, it seemed that you cannot simply migrate your desktop traditional software to these small screens and get the same job done. Get the same power, get the same flexibility. You have to have different interface. You have to have different context. You have to have recent data at your hands to be productive. So for us,
but actually, sorry to interrupt you, but for a long time, and hopefully it starts to be changing. A lot of people say, yeah, but I mean, come on, the iPad is just for consuming content. It's not to be productive. You cannot create stuff. You only read stuff.
Yes, initially it was absolutely the case. Now it shifts a bit, so you cannot create all kind of stuff on the iPad, but you can alter the content you have. You can do some edits, you can do some changes, And effectively, it happened that most people need exactly that. So actually, you don't need to create, you won't be doing like 150-page document, a brochure on the iPad. But if you have something lightweight to go through it, to update, to communicate with people, maybe annotate and comment, you are more than comfortable to use iPad today than carry a laptop and a charger with you. So for us, going mobile was first a challenge on how do you bring the technology to the scale when it serves people that are not familiar with technology. So it's really challenging in terms of interface. How do you build product? How do you solve these problems? What kind of problems actually are there? And iPad was the natural growth from that. And it was fun because like our first products were designed at a time when we did not have an iPad. So we have basically paper mock-up of the iPad, and we drew the interface with pencils, and we were trying to figure out how exactly people will going to be using that. So it was so new to everyone. So we had to learn fast, and basically that's the way the whole industry works. You have to move fast, you have to learn fast, you have to challenge every single statement you had yesterday, and kind of come up with a problem with a new angle. That's the challenging, that's interesting, that's fun, that's rewarding if you do it right, and that was kind of why we did it.
ERAN.